The village in it with a map and a plan. No place too tiny for this determined man. Crossing the counties one by one, he'll see in every English corner a bit of history.
The East Lindsey series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop located at 20 Ropery Road, Gainsborough, or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. Welcome back to East Lindsey, everybody, for the final time this week. I'm beginning this episode with a beautiful view, and I say that completely biasedly as a Lincolnshire boy. Check this out. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this fantastic? Farmland with the farmers in the fields. There's a couple of tractors down there, combine harvester as well. There's a few clouds in the sky, but generally speaking it's nice, bright, clear. It's about 27, 28 degrees, and I've got this for a view. It's wonderful. Now, where will you find this field? This field can be found on, well, this road, this little lane. Now, if you find yourself on this lane, you'll be standing next to the site of a church which has been pulled down. It was pulled down a long time ago. This is the little hamlet of Scrafield, and if you go through this hamlet, it'll take you towards today's main village. This is the parish of Mareham on the Hill. Mareham on the Hill, Poole Village on the Hill. Rounding off the week in East Lindsey, today we hit the parish of Mareham on the Hill, perhaps one of the lesser known villages around Horncastle. The thing I love about this one is the fact that it's so close to the A158, yet if you set foot in the village you'd think you were nowhere near a major road. This one is so peaceful, so quiet, and just all round lovely. Mareham on the Hill is about 2.5 miles away from Horncastle. It has relatively little barring a pretty thatched cottage, an old schoolhouse, an old Wesleyan chapel, and its Grade 2 listed church dedicated to All Saints. Mind you, what it lacks in terms of features it makes up for in pure rural charm. It's a classic East Lindsey village. It is, to all intents and purposes, a linear village occupying one lane which runs from north to south. The church is in a bit of a weird place, accessed unusually not by the road but by a footpath from the south or via a farmyard to the north. I reckon the church here is one of the best we will ever have seen in Lincolnshire, and we've seen a few. Aside from that church, the only other listed building here is Manor Grange Farmhouse, which is 18th century and made of red brick. The parish also includes the hamlet of Scrafield, which used to have a church of its own, dedicated to St Michael. Long gone, I'll show you where that was in this video. By the way, Mareham means pool village, suggesting there was some sort of pool or pond or lake around here. There must have been a fair few around Horncastle, because on the hill helps to distinguish it from Mareham le Fen, not too far away to the south. So for one last time this week, let's go. Now, to begin with today, we need to first of all cover the hamlet of Scrafield, which lies to the east of Mareham on the Hill, between the village and the A158. Scrafield is not a lot more than a couple of farms and a few isolated houses, but it used to have a church a long time ago. As you drive into the hamlet from the A158, you need to look to your left if you want to see where that building was. It took me a little while to figure out exactly where it stood, but I did find it. Let's have a look. This is all that remains of the ancient church or chapel of St Michael. It fell into disrepair in the early 1800s, and by 1842 it had gone completely, although the churchyard was still used. Today it's very overgrown and not looked after by anyone. The northern part of the churchyard was levelled in 1977, and now only a single gravestone remains, dating from the 18th century. Well, I thought I'd just pop my head in to see if I could find the gravestone, the one and only gravestone that is remaining here. I can't see it anywhere, but then again, it's probably not the easiest thing to find because this is mostly, as you can see, all overgrown and whatnot. It could even be in those nettles and things over there, so no idea whereabouts it is. As it turns out, it's not the only gravestone, because there is another one here as well. I think this is actually a memorial. As you can see here, there's a little plaque down here that says Stephen Reed, 1936 to 2017, greatly missed by Judy and our family. So technically speaking, I guess that's another gravestone, but I would imagine he's not buried there. I wouldn't have thought so. So I wonder where this gravestone is. I'm just going to have a little explore while I'm in here, see if I can pin it down, but I'm certainly not going to go traipsing through all this lot if it's in there. I have no idea whereabouts it will be, if it's anywhere visible, but from my sources there is one gravestone remaining somewhere. It's just a question of finding it. Well, there's the top of the churchyard. It's not going to be in that because that's just a massive field. I reckon it's in this lot. So wherever it may be, it's probably not visible right now with it being summer. Maybe in the winter time when everything's died back a little bit, you can maybe see it then. But yeah, this is the site of St Michael's Church in Scrafield. Now this isn't the only important thing about Scrafield actually. As we drive into Mareham, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a battle that took place around here. There is no doubt that Scrafield was much bigger than this at one time. There are earthwork remains all around here, and the fact it had a church is a massive clue. Scrafield used to be a parish in its own right, but it was abolished in 1936 and merged with Mareham on the Hill. The village was not listed in the Domesday Book. Instead, it was first mentioned in documentary sources in 1183. It's famous for one thing, even though it's so tiny. Scrafield and Mareham on the Hill are both close to a battlefield. The Battle of Winceby was fought on the 11th of October 1643 during the English Civil War. During ploughing of the fields around Scrafield some years ago, a breastplate and a backplate of an early 17th century date were found, believed to have come from that battle. There were no human bones found inside or nearby either piece, so it could be that the armour was thrown off in a hurry to aid flight from the battle. The positions of the latchets retaining the shoulder pieces may be significant too. One was in the shut position, the other open. That means possibly one side was undone so that the armour could be wrenched off. All of this makes sense when you consider where Scrafield lies. The village is positioned directly on a route that might have been taken by royalist troops fleeing back to Horncastle after their defeat in the battle. Okay then, here we are in Mareham on the Hill. I nearly said Mareham Le Fen there. It's very easy to get those two mixed up because there's a Mareham on the Hill, there's a Mareham Le Fen as well, which isn't too far away from here. So this is our start point outside the old smithy, which you can see right there. We're in the northernmost part of Mareham on the Hill. We're just generally going to work our way south to the church and then work our way back again. Not really a lot here, but yeah, it's a beautiful village. Having driven through it, I know what it looks like, and in a moment you will too. Let's begin this walk around Mareham on the Hill in the northwest of the village. This road is the main one and has most of the properties. Follow this road to the northwest and you'll emerge at Horncastle, whilst to the southeast, in the other direction, you'll end up at Hameringham. Mareham on the Hill means pool village or settlement of pool dwellers. There are two Marehams in East Lindsey. Mareham Le Fen is just a few miles away to the south. This northern end of the village is all houses, but one of them is a former chapel. Religiously, the only thing Mareham has now is the Church of All Saints. This was a Wesleyan Methodist chapel built in 1853 with money left by one Zachariah Goh. I should stress that his full name is not accurately known. In any event, his money was put to good use and the chapel served the village for just over a century. It closed at some point between 1956 and 1970, when it was no longer labelled as such on OS maps. The building is of red brick and has a gabled roof with decorative barge boards on the eaves. A delightful building all ends up, it's now in the lucky possession of a private owner. Okay, let's start to make our way towards the church now, which is not on this road actually. It's a bit weird. It's off the road behind most of the houses which are coming up along here. And the reason for that is because, well, Mareham used to be quite a bit bigger than what it is right now. So let's head towards the church next, and to do that we have to leave this road behind briefly. The church isn't on it. To get to it, you have to go through or around a farmyard. Mareham on the Hill is by no means as large as it once was. It's a shrunken village, which explains why this church is nowhere near the road. Today the village is centred on the road, but all around it in the fields are the remains of what was once here. There are earthworks all over the place. However, a lot of them have been ploughed away. In 1976, shallow ploughing revealed lots of medieval tiles and pottery, suggesting Mareham might have had a small pottery making business. Several trackways, crofts, ridges and furrows still remain in an area stretching from the church up to the Grade 2 listed Mareham Grange farmhouse a ways north of the main village cluster. Mareham's church is dedicated to All Saints and it's a Grade 2 listed building dating originally from the 12th century. It was rebuilt in the 15th, restored in 1780 and remodelled in 1804. This is in regular use by the community and well used because it's the only public meeting place in the village. A footpath that passes through the churchyard is part of the Lincolnshire Wolds walk. The church and churchyard are used by walkers and birdwatchers as well as families researching genealogy. Regular visitors often picnic on the benches just outside it, which are also used by those who just like to sit and ponder in the solitude they provide as birds soar above. Materials wise, this one is built of Spilsby green sandstone, limestone and red brick and is colour washed in a lovely white colour that stands out well in the bright sunshine. The colour wash helps to hide the unevenness of the exterior masonry, even though it is now itself quite worn. The building is quite simple, being as it is a nave and a chancel all rolled into one. On the roof is a small bell tower with a single bell and a weather vane atop it. Excavations carried out in 1985 revealed that at one time this church was a bit bigger. The medieval nave was broader and had a south aisle. The present nave wall and windows both date from that remodelling in 1804, whilst the steeple which this once possessed was taken down in 1780. Inside the church are charming Georgian furnishings, a double-decker pulpit and box pews, all painted blue, contrasting with a contemporary floor of red brick. It also has a hatchment memorial, possibly in memory of Mary Nichols, the wife of Reverend Richard Ward. One thing I get asked quite a lot as I travel around the country is, what's your favourite village? Which one would you say is the one that stands out head and shoulders above the others? I don't think it's Mareham. I don't think it's Mareham on the Hill, but I'll tell you something, it might well be up there in sort of the top 20. This churchyard is just so quiet, so peaceful. All I can hear at this present moment in time is the birds in the trees behind me. Can't hear any of the roads, can't hear the A158 even though it's close-ish to Mareham. Can't hear it at all. All I can hear is just nature. It's fantastic. It's no wonder people like coming here. Returning to the road, the first thing you see at the southern end of Mareham is this wonderful thatched cottage called Medlars. This is an early 18th century mud and stud cottage which consists of a single storey and an attic with a central stack. It was altered in both the 19th and 20th centuries, which saw the construction of a rendered brick lean-to with a pan-tiled roof. I would love to live here. How about you? To complete the walk, all we have to do is walk back up the road in the opposite direction. Isn't Mareham on the Hill just a wonderful little village? Okay then, that's Mareham on the Hill done and dusted. As we learned earlier, there's another Mareham in East Lindsey, Mareham Le Fen. That one's for another time though, because it's to the south of here. When we return to the district again, we'll be heading back north. Join me again soon for more out here in deep East Lincolnshire. Now, just before I go, remember, this video is part of a huge project to visit every civil parish in England. That's more than 10,000. These routes are pre-planned, and due to time constraints, I can't cover every detail or walk down every street. Please don't complain if this video missed something out. I pronounce names how I choose to. I am very aware that local dialect may vary, and I don't take kindly to criticism about this. You've been warned. It's impossible to know everything too. If this video was terrible, make your own. If you're a regular watcher of The Village Idiot, you're not the only one. If you've got a small business, why not use my videos to advertise it? Leave a comment below if you're interested. And finally, thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and share it with your friends and relatives. It all helps to keep this mission going. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as The Village Idiot, and I'm out.